This happens when there's a lot of books that you want to read. My bad. Hello Lovely Bookworms, I'm Esmay from Paradise of Pages on Instagram and welcome to a new video. In today's video, I'll be sharing with you 15 books that will come out in 2019 and I am desperate to read. So considering there's quite a few of them, without further ado, let's get into it. The first book, and I think most of the books on this list are actually books that are sequels. And the first one that I want to mention is The Toll by Neil Schusterman, which is the third book in the Scythe series trilogy. I don't know, I think it was supposed to be a series. But it is the third book. I'm not completely sure when all of these books are coming out, but that doesn't mean I'm not excited for it. The first book, Scythe, basically is about a man and a woman, obviously, who will go into the Scythedom, sort of, and what the Scythedom does is they kill people to make sure that there's no overpopulation, and that's basically what the first book is about, and from there on, the story progresses. A lot of things happen and everything goes wrong, which is usually the case with books. And the third one, I can't tell you too much about it without spoiling, so I'm not going to do that, but I am very excited to read this one. Then the second book is also the third book, but I think it is the third book in a trilogy, and that is a finale by Stephanie Garber, which is the third book in the Legendary trilogy, if I'm correct. It should be the third and last book. And I'm just so excited to see how everything will be wrapped up. I think I've mentioned it quite a few times that I think that the writing style of these books, of Stephanie Garber in the Legendary series, trilogy, however you want to call it, is just so unique and so interesting, which makes me all the more excited to see how the third book will actually wrap up everything. So both sisters' storylines and everything that wasn't touched upon in the previous two books, so in Legendary and Caravel. Caravel's the first one. Legendary isn't the first one, I'm sorry. It's the Caravel trilogy. This happens when there's a lot of books that you want to read. My bad. So I'm very excited to read Finale, and I think this one is supposed to be out around March, April, which was the same with the first two, I think. Could be very wrong. And the third book on my list is a sequel once again, and that is the second book in the... What was the first one called? I don't know what the first one was called. I quickly looked it up on my phone, and it is The Cruel Prince, obviously. I should have known this. I knew it was something prince, but then my mind kept going Captive Prince, but that's not... No, we're not talking about that because I did not like that book. It's The Cruel Prince by Holly Black, and the second book, which I am talking about now, is The Wicked King, which should be out in January, so for me it will be a birthday month read, because my birthday is on January 11th, which means that I'm turning 22 pretty soon, which means that I'm getting old, but that's okay. I hope so. You hope so. Mom is like right behind the camera and she says that she hopes that I'm getting old. Let's hope I do. So yeah, The Wicked King is coming out in January and I'm excited to read it and see how everything goes. Then the fourth book on my list is one that I've been excited for ever since it was released, and maybe even before then, because it is a book by Leigh Bardugo, and if you are a fan of Leigh Bardugo, you probably know what I'm talking about, and that is King of Scars, which is set in the Grisha universe and is about King Nikolai Lantsov. I think it's Lantsov. And he was in the first trilogy that she wrote, which is Shadow and Bone. Read that one, loved Nikolai. Then he had a very small part of Six of Crows. I think he was in Crooked Kingdom actually. And now he is getting his own book, which is called King of Scars. And I cannot tell you how excited I am for this. I'm pretty sure I also have it pre-ordered already. So let's see when this is coming to me. If you pre-order things very early on, it feels as if you get a present, which is not. Obviously you pay for it, but still feels like a present because you don't remember it. I just hope and pray that it is here fast. The next book on my list is one that is quite special to me because the first book came out last October and I've actually received that one as an ARC, and that is Evenfall by Gaia J. Koss and Boris Goss. I'm pretty sure I've talked about this one more than once on this channel, but the second one, called Emergence, is coming out October 2019. Pretty sure it's going to be October, and I hope and pray that I can get my hands on an ARC of that one once again, because I cannot wait. I'm pretty sure Evenfall is going to be a trilogy, so I'll have to wait until 2020 to know how the exact story wraps up, but I'm just not thinking about that right now. I'm just focusing on the second book that's coming out, and I have to say that I'm super excited to see what will happen with all the characters, and I'm just generally very excited about all these books on this list, but some more than others. The next book is The next book that I want to mention is one that is actually new. It is not a sequel. It is not something that's part of another verse or, well, world. And that is We Hunt the Flame. I don't know too much about this, only that there is a King of Death in this one called, was it Nazir, I think? And the premise of it was just so interesting. Wow. Interesting. The premise of this book was just so interesting that it had me piqued from the first time I saw it. Besides that, the cover is absolutely beautiful, and everybody knows by now that a cover is just as important as the content. At least for me, I'm a cover buyer. No shame. I'm just very excited to see what it's all about, and who doesn't want a King of Death? I mean, come on. The next book is once again a sequel, which was supposed to come out last year. Funny story about this is that back in April or June this year, so I'm still filming this in 2018, Femke already reread the first book in preparation of the book that I'm about to mention. Then it turned out that it was pushed back an entire year, or well, almost a year, but I hope that it is coming out in 2019. I'm gonna pray, keep my fingers crossed, and that is Rage by Cora Carmack. Cora Carmack? I think that's what her full name is. I'm very excited for the second book. Roar was amazing, and I was supposed to reread it this year as well, but I didn't because luckily Femke reread it first, and then we figured out that was pushed back, so I pushed back my reread as well. I can still laugh about this, it was so funny. The moment we figured out that was pushed back, I still see Femke's face. It was so sad, but I found it very funny. Sorry Femke, no, I love you. But yeah, Rage is coming out in 2019, and I am super excited to read it, and let's hope it's here fast. The next book that is on this list is actually a sequel of a book that I haven't read yet, which is kind of cheating, but kind of is not. The book that I'm mentioning here is Vow of Thieves by Mary E. Pearson. The first book in this series, duology, trilogy, I don't know what it is Dance of Thieves, which is a book that I haven't read yet, but considering it is Mary E. Pearson and The Kiss of Deception is one of my favorite trilogies of all time, and considering Dance of Thieves is actually in the world of The Kiss of Deception, I know I'll love it anyway, so I want to read Vow of Thieves anyway, which makes me excited. So there's two books that I want to read next year by Mary E. Pearson, and that makes me even more happy. I'm so excited for these books. They're also so beautiful, and I'm so happy. I don't know when it's coming out, but hopefully it is soon, and I need to read it now. But then again, I need to read everything now. But there's no time. The next book, I think, is one of the biggest anticipated reads on this entire list, and that is The Kingdom of Copper by S.A. Chakraborty. The first one, The City of Brass, I read this summer, so the summer of 2018, and it blew my mind. It was so good. The cover is so incredibly beautiful. So same goes for the second book, obviously. And The Kingdom of Copper is actually coming out January 8th. I actually looked this up a little while ago, that's why I know. Which means that I'll probably be able to read this on my actual birthday, which makes me even more happy. It is absolutely beautiful. It is probably as big as a brick, so that makes me even more happy, and I just need it now. But luckily for me, there's only a week, maybe 2 left until it is finally here. That makes me super excited, and I need it now. But then again, I need all these books on this list now. The next book on this list is actually another one that is new, and that is Four Dead Queens. I don't know too much about this book actually, but I read the premise a little while ago and I thought it was super intriguing and super interesting, which is why I put it down here. And also, isn't it beautiful? I'll post a picture somewhere here on this side, I don't know, sorry plants. Either of these sides, it's just absolutely beautiful and I'm excited to see what it is all about. I've heard quite a few people who are interested in this book. I know that Femke herself also wants to read this one, so let's see if I can in 2019. The next book is also one that I'm super excited for because it is by an author that I have discovered this year, and that is Spin the Dawn by Elizabeth Lim. Elizabeth Lim has written the Mulan retelling called Reflection, which is part of the, I think it's a Disney thing where they, with Liz Braswell, but Reflection is sort of in that bulk of books. Reflection was absolutely amazing, and Spin the Dawn, I think, is sort of advertised as a spin-off, or well, an in-between of Runway Catwalk or something, and Mulan as well, so I'm excited to see what it is all about. Besides, I really love the writing style of Elizabeth Lim, and there can never be too many Mulan retellings in my opinion, or spins on the story, because it is my absolute favorite and I cannot wait to have my hands on that book. The next book is also a very intriguing one, which is also a first book in a series, trilogy, duology. Maybe it's a standalone, I don't know. I don't think it's a standalone though, but it could be a standalone. And that is Blood Heir. Basically, this is about a girl, or a princess I think, who's on the run and has the power to control blood. This reminds me very much of that one episode in The Legend of Aang, basically, where Katara can control blood. And it's just very intriguing to me and very interesting. Other than that, I don't know too much about the book, and only that it's pretty. But it is very interesting and I'm excited to see what it is all about. The next book on this list is once again a sequel. I think it's a third book in a trilogy actually, and that is The Triumphant, which is the third book in the Valiant trilogy. I am excited to see what this is all about. The Valiant is all about gladiators and fighting and all those kinds of things, but well, they're about female gladiators. And considering everything that have happened in the first 2 books, I'm excited to see what the third one will do. And once again, the cover is beautiful, it's green, and it's glorious. So I need this book as soon as possible too. There are only 2 more books on my list, and the semi-to-last one is Warriors of the Wild by Tricia Livenseller. I don't know too much about this book, I have to say, but when I saw that Tricia Livenseller wrote it, I needed to read it, which is kind of a lame excuse. But I've read Daughter of the Pirate King and Daughter of the Siren Queen by the same author and absolutely loved those. They were so funny, so fast, so beautifully written that I'm excited to see what Warriors of the Wild is all about. And I just kind of fell in love with her writing style that I just needed to pick this up. I think it is something with gladiators as well, so in the Roman era. I'm not completely sure about this though, but when you look at the cover, it might be something along those lines. But I'm still very excited to see what it is all about. Okay, we're already on the last book that is on this list, and that is These Divided Shores. I didn't think I would actually want to read this book when I started the first one, which is These Rebel Waves. I have to say that These Rebel Waves really surprised me in the beginning of how much I disliked it. And then after, I don't know, 100 pages or so, how much I actually wanted to finish it. There's one character in this book called Vex, or well, Devereaux, who is so interesting that this character alone made me continue this book. and I have to say that I am not disappointed. It was actually quite a good read, and that is also why I'm very excited to see what the second book will do. And those were all the books that I am very excited about in 2019. I know there's a lot more coming out, and I also know that there's quite a few books that are set to be released in 2019, but it's not completely sure. One of them being the fourth book in the Amber of the Ashes series by Sabaa Tahir. The last book, which was Reaper at the Gates, came out in 2018. And the fourth one is actually set to be out in 2019, but it has no title and no actual release date in 2019, apart from the fact that it says 2019. So I'm hoping it will be there in 2019, but I have the feeling that it won't be, considering how long we had to wait for Reaper at the Gates. So I'm not going to mention this. Well, I did mention it in this video, but that's why it's not on the list, because I'm just not sure. And there are quite a few more books that are set in 2019, but there's no information about it whatsoever, so I decided not to put them on this list. That was also everything for this video. I want to thank all of you for watching. Comment down below the books that you are so excited about that will be coming out in 2019. Please give us a thumbs up, subscribe to our channel, and press that little bell icon so you get post notifications every single time that we post. And I will see you guys the next time. Bye!